room full of bad bitches. One big room full of bad bitches. One big room full of bad bitches. One big room full of bad bitches.
Hey guys, Aaron here from hippievanman.com. I was thinking the other day about how a big part of the Hippie Van Man project is inspiring people to live their dreams, live in the now. So I was thinking about some people that I knew that were doing just that, and one of the first people that came to my mind was Nate Kogan, who is a transmedia artist, DJ, and photographer based out of Toronto, Canada. So that's what we're doing here right now, is just waiting for him to come out of his downtown Toronto home, and I'm going to pick his brain about a few things.
Police were forced to open fire on a naked man who refused to stop chewing the face off of another man. Clearly was on some very powerful drugs.
Zombie. Excuse me, America, I don't do the taxes. I make my money flip stretch, we call it gymnastics. It's fucking Friday, I need a knee alone with a nice set of tits and a green thong. Me and Juicy.
Like we were talking about earlier in the car, a big part of the Hippie Van Man project is inspiring others to follow their dreams, to live their dreams, go after aspirations. You're one of the people that came to mind, so I don't know, for the people that don't know Nate, this is Nate Kogan, transmedia artist.
It's like a buzzword.
Yeah, buzzword.
I'm a thingy guy, like I do stuff.
Yeah, so for people who haven't heard of you yet or seen your work, we're gonna link his work here, all over the YouTube video. You're gonna go check out his stuff after you see this interview. So basically, tell him what you do.
I use the internet as a canvas. I'm part of a movement called the New Aesthetic, which is people who know that the online presence is something that could be used as a medium and want to see how the machines see us and we see them at the same time. So it's kind of the line between physical and digital that we try to blur. Yeah, that's a pretty good summary of it. Basically, the internet is my bitch.
Cool. Something I was thinking about the other day was how dreams kind of change over time.
Yeah.
So like, what were some of your dreams growing up and ambitions?
So that's a really funny story, actually. I love it when people ask me this. So like, where did this all come from? So it all started when I was actually 15 years old. That's when I could like drop the genesis of where all this kind of stuff happened. And it was a photography class in high school, like grade 10 or something, whatever you are when you're 15. That kind of really set my path toward the arts. Before that, I was a big like biology head. I wanted to be an entomologist, which is the study of insects. So I love bugs, so I'm not scared of them and they're great. So, but what happened was that I went through this course and I realized that I could basically replicate anything that I saw, and that blew me away, right? At 15 years old, I mean, I knew what photography was, but to actually have that power and to have control over it, kind of like switch things over. So that was the driving factor in that. Yada, yada, yada. I ended up going to art school for photography and did that whole thing. Right out of art school, to make a long story short, I was like, fuck photography. I was actually sick of it. I didn't want to just do things that were still. I wanted to do something more dynamic. I was on the internet so much. I was a child of the internet. It's all this stuff happening. There's interaction, sound, motion, all that kind of stuff. Really bored of the fact that it's just a still image. So I spent like 6 months in like utter craziness, just kind of figured out what I wanted to do. And that's when I started with all the GIF stuff. And that's kind of what I got really well known for. And now I'm segueing into video things and a little bit of interaction and gallery related stuff, etc. So yeah, things definitely change. I can't consider, even though like my core background is in photography, I'm no longer a photographer, although like all my work has, you know, visual imagery in it. I wouldn't call myself just that. I do something a little bit different.
In this process of learning the art, getting to where you are now, along the way, what has kind of been the most critical lesson you've learned as far as becoming, being able to support yourself independently as a freelance artist? Because I know that's something that
so a lot of people kind of struggle with. I mean, I'm still struggling with it, right? To say that I live a lavish lifestyle or anything like that would be a complete lie. I mean, it's always a struggle, but I make enough to pay rent, eat, go out a little bit, which is awesome. And I do it on my terms. It's all mine, which is kind of crazy. And the one takeaway I said is never settle, right? Yeah. So, like, the one thing I always took away from everything is never settle for anything less than what you want to be, and never give people too much of your soul, right? Because especially when dealing with the arts, you're basically trying to find a good kind of like balance point of giving people pieces of your soul that they can relate to. But if you give them too much of that, they'll take too much of it, and then you'll be left with nothing, and you won't be able to evolve. And settling, on the other hand, means that you're okay with the status quo. You're okay with what other people are doing to make money, etc. And if you're not different, if you're not doing crazy things, if you're not failing, you're not learning. So that's pretty much the 2 takeaways that like I live by all the time right now. Be uncomfortable, never settle, and you know, only give people small pieces of what you want to give them, and make sure that they can relate to them.
Definitely. Well, yeah, we were talking a little bit about that before this interview, right?
Yeah.
Where from the outside to a lot of people it can look like you might be living a dream.
Oh yeah,
and
totally.
it's all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, like, you know, it's a dream, and it's the dream and the nightmare at the same time, right? Like, I've spoken to people countless amount of times where like I've told them that the reason why I'm up till like 6, 7 in the morning is because I have an idea in my head that I need to get out, and I just can't do it right. So there's all these things that go along with it. It's almost like an addiction that you have to do this kind of stuff. That's not glorious. That's not pretty at all. It's really, really hard to do, but it's something that you're born with, and you can't. The more and more you practice with it, the more and more you get good at it, but you can't get rid of it. You will always be in that kind of like struggle zone of trying to get your ideas out, because what they are is they're a manifestation of what you are, and you want to get them out on paper, on screen, to people, and that's an extremely hard thing to do.
Yeah.
So it's not all sunshine at all.
Yeah.
Plus, man, nobody wants to pay for anything. That's the reality of it as well, right? Like, I sell a lot. Like, I'm lucky in that what I sell to people is true, like just pure artwork. Like I do lookbooks for some companies, etc., but I sell them print. It's pure art based, and I consider myself very lucky for that, even though I don't make a crazy amount of money on it, because nobody likes to pay for things. Everybody expects, especially with the arts, they think you just make it out of thin air. And even though the ideas are mine, it's so taxing and so time consuming that they just don't think it's worth anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not glamorous. It's struggle, but it's my struggle. It's what I pick.
At the end of the day, it does add to the overall reward, right? Is that if you didn't have this struggle, it's not going to be.
It's not exactly like the first time I ever sold a piece of art, it blew my mind. That somebody is interested enough for whatever it is that I make, whatever this goobly-goop is that I basically puke out on the screen, to be worthwhile enough to pay me money to do it. And that right there was my turning point, where I was like, that's it. I have to quit everything I don't like, which I still live by. I do nothing I don't like, and I just have to do this full time. So there we are, a year, almost 2 years now.
All right, so speaking of time, let's say right now, Doc Brown pulls up in a DeLorean.
Yeah.
When and where are you going in time and why?
1973. I want to ride in an old school like police car with a mustache cop who's like a badass, and like all these chicks, free sex and love, just crazy times. No, that's one of them. Honestly, if I could really think about where I want it to go, I would have to, like, truthfully, probably the 60s. I like the mentality and like I like that cusp where, like, you know, humanity went from being like a really, really tight society, you know, like really close knit. I mean, it still is really close knit, really to the book, to having like this hippie counterculture and like freedom and whatnot. I'd want to be at the cusp of that and see what happened with it.
Yeah.
I think that'd be very, very interesting.
Cool.
I mean, I believe
you're
in like
not
magic crystals.
You're not just
and
saying
stuff.
that because of hippie.
I love
or
the
anything.
look at. I mean, look at this, right? I believe in magic juju vibes as well. It's all there, right? Woo. So, yeah, I think that would be it.
All right, cool. So I think that just about wraps it up.
Sweet.
Now, we were talking earlier, and me and Nate are a little bit kind of friends, or I don't know what you want to call it. Yeah.
Acquaintance
We're
friends.
acquaintance
We don't hate each other.
Yeah, I definitely have looked up to Nate as a mentor, enjoying my own photography and stuff.
Yeah, he's
but,
great. Good
So
stuff.
anyways, long story short, I know Nate is going to Burning Man for his first time this year.
First time burn. Yeah, very excited
And,
about that.
I was thinking maybe we could go check out Active Surplus, a store up on Queen Street that has a bunch of crazy gadgets and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a gas mask that just attaches to everything.
Yeah. So, yeah, sounds good. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much, Aaron. And if last words, just
Yeah.
you know, make sure to do what you want to do, because nothing else matters. In the end, you're all the same cosmic dust. So forget about forget about anything that's not your own goal. Don't ever work towards anybody else's goals. I guess it's kind of like militant, but it's important. It's how you're gonna grow.
Creative, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah. There you go.
Great, sweet.
Yeah.
Think about those little pills, unreal, the thrills they yield until they kill a million brain cells.